Imagine this. You sit down at your desk, determined to finally start that project. The one that has been hanging over your head for weeks, maybe even months. You know it's important. You know the deadline is approaching, and yet you hesitate. A subtle discomfort creeps in. Maybe you should check your phone first, just 5 minutes. Maybe grab a snack. You'll focus better if you're comfortable, right? An hour slips by, then 2. The weight of unfinished work presses heavier on your chest, but instead of acting, you open another tab, watch another video, scroll through another page. The irony is suffocating. The more you delay, the more anxious you feel, and yet, the more anxious you feel, the harder it becomes to start. And then the real horror sets in. You're not just procrastinating on a task, you're procrastinating on life itself. How many ideas have you abandoned before they even had the chance to breathe? How many times have you sat at the edge of change, on the verge of a better body, a sharper mind, a more disciplined soul, only to step back into the comfort of delay? The ancient Stoics had a word for this silent disease, akrasia, the state of knowing what must be done, yet failing to do it. They saw it not as a minor flaw, but as a profound tragedy, the slow decay of human potential. To know, yet not to act, is the same as never knowing at all. And yet, modern psychology reveals an unsettling contradiction. Procrastination is not laziness. It is not simple distraction. It is, at its core, a battle between two selves, the self that yearns for meaning and the self that clings to comfort. So, the question is this: why do we, as conscious beings, sabotage ourselves? Why do we run from the very things that would make us stronger? Why does the mind, designed for reason and growth, willingly dig its own grave with endless delay? Perhaps Nietzsche was right when he said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But what happens when the why is buried beneath fear, doubt, and distraction? What happens when we become strangers to our own purpose? This is not just about wasted time. It is about a stolen life. And if you don't reclaim it, who will? Procrastination is a thief, but a cunning one. It doesn't take from you all at once. It steals in fragments, an hour here, a day there, until one day you wake up and realize years have slipped through your fingers. But why? Why does the mind, capable of extraordinary willpower, surrender so easily to delay? The answer lies not in time management, as so many self-help books would have you believe, but in something much deeper: fear. Not the fear of failure, at least not in the way you think, but the fear of becoming more than you are, the battle of two selves. Carl Jung spoke of the self and the shadow, two forces within us that constantly pull in opposite directions. The self represents growth, mastery, and purpose. The shadow, comfort, avoidance, and decay. When you decide to take action, whether it's writing a book, starting a business, or confronting a painful truth, you trigger a silent war. Your self wants to move forward, but the shadow whispers, "Not today, not now, you're not ready." And so, you hesitate. But what is hesitation, if not the first step toward regret? Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "The snake which cannot shed its skin must perish." Likewise, minds prevented from changing their opinions cease to be minds. In other words, if you refuse to evolve, you decay. Procrastination is not just a bad habit, it is spiritual stagnation. Every moment you delay what matters, you reinforce the idea that you are incapable, unworthy, or too weak to rise. And the worst part? The longer you postpone action, the more it feels like your identity. You are no longer someone who procrastinates. You are a procrastinator, a prisoner of your own patterns. The role of modern society, a system designed to keep you stuck. The Stoics warned against external distractions as the enemy of self-mastery. But if they lived today, they would see something far worse. A world designed to keep you distracted. Social media, instant entertainment, endless notifications. These are not just tools. They are chains. Aldous Huxley warned in Brave New World that the greatest form of control would not come from force, but from pleasure. A society so overstimulated, so addicted to novelty, that people would willingly enslave themselves. Look around. How many people waste their potential not because they lack talent, but because they are drowning in shallow distractions? How many times have you picked up your phone for a quick check and lost an hour? And here is the terrifying part. These distractions are not accidental. Corporations invest billions to keep you hooked, because an unfocused mind is the easiest to control. A mind that cannot focus cannot rebel. A mind that cannot rebel cannot change. And a mind that cannot change, it is already dead. The comfort of inaction, the lie, you tell yourself. And yet, Despite knowing all this, you continue to delay. Why? Because action demands change. And change, true, radical change, requires death. The death of your old self. The death of the familiar. The death of excuses. Jean-Paul Sartre argued that freedom is terrifying because it removes all excuses. If you are truly free, you can no longer blame the world. Your failures are your own. And so, many choose procrastination not out of laziness, but as a shield. A shield from responsibility. A shield from pain. A shield from the crushing realization that the only thing standing between you and the life you want is you. But shields are heavy, and the longer you carry them, the harder it is to move. So the question remains, how long will you wait before you drop the weight? Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that the life you are living is not the one you chose. Not because you lacked dreams, not because you were incapable, but because every time you stood at the crossroads of action and delay, you chose delay. This is the silent horror of procrastination. It does not ruin your life all at once. It erodes it slowly, invisibly, quietly. A missed opportunity here, a delayed project there, a dream postponed for just a little while longer. Until one day, there is no time left. The decay of self. What procrastination does to your mind. You might think procrastination is a minor flaw, an annoying but harmless habit. But what if I told you it is psychological self-sabotage at the highest level? Neuroscience reveals something disturbing. Every time you delay an important action, you reinforce a neural pathway that associates effort with discomfort. This is why procrastination becomes a cycle. The more you avoid doing something difficult, the more your brain conditions itself to avoid it again, and again, and again, until the very idea of effort feels exhausting. And what happens when effort itself feels unbearable? You stop growing, and when you stop growing, you begin to rot. The Stoics believed that the greatest punishment for an undisciplined mind is not external failure, it is internal decay. A man who refuses to challenge himself does not simply stay the same, he weakens. His resolve diminishes, his willpower atrophies. His ability to take decisive action fades into dust. And then, the worst part comes. The world moves on without you. The world does not wait for the man who hesitates. While you linger in hesitation, someone else is writing that book, launching that business, strengthening their body. While you delay, the opportunities that were meant for you are seized by others, and soon, you are left behind. Not because you were incapable, but because when life knocked on your door, you didn't answer. The ancient Greeks had a word for this, acedia. Acedia is not just laziness, it is the soul's apathy toward its own potential. It is the feeling of knowing you were meant for something greater, yet watching yourself do nothing about it. It is the slow-burning regret of realizing that your future self will curse the choices you are making today. And yet, even now, you tell yourself the same comforting lie, I'll do it tomorrow. But let me ask you something. What if tomorrow never comes? The final stage of procrastination, a life of regret. Picture yourself at the end of your life, not as a hero, not as someone who conquered their fears, but as someone who always said, someday. Imagine sitting alone in a quiet room, looking back on decades of postponed dreams. You had ideas that could have changed lives. You had the talent to create something meaningful. You had the potential to become someone extraordinary, but you never did. Because when the moment came to act, you whispered to yourself, not yet, and not yet became never. The Roman philosopher Seneca warned, while we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away. How much more will you let slip? The time has come for a choice, and in the next section, we will uncover how to break free. Enough. No more wasted time, no more watching your life slip through your fingers like sand. If you followed this far, you already know the cost of procrastination. You felt its weight. But here's what no one tells you. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It is a philosophy problem. You don't overcome it with productivity hacks or motivational quotes. You overcome it by changing the way you see yourself, time, and action. And that begins with a radical realization. You do not have time. Most people live as if they are immortal. They assume there will always be a later to start the project, later to get serious about their health, later to fix their relationships. But one day there is no later. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." What if you truly accepted this? What if you understood, not just intellectually, but deeply, that time is not something you own, that right now is all you have? Would you still delay? Or would you finally act? The illusion of the right moment. There is a lie that keeps you stuck. A lie so seductive that millions fall victim to it every day. And that lie is this: I'm just waiting for the right time. But tell me, when has the perfect moment ever arrived? When has life ever cleared a perfect path for you to pursue your goals without obstacles, discomfort, or uncertainty? It never has, and it never will. The Greek philosopher Epictetus put it bluntly: how long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? The right time is now, not when you feel ready, not when circumstances are ideal. Now. Because readiness is a myth. You become ready by starting. Kill the identity of a procrastinator. Here's the next step. You must kill the part of you that identifies as a procrastinator. Every time you say, I'm just lazy, or I always procrastinate, you reinforce that identity, and humans always act in alignment with who they believe they are. So, if you want to stop procrastinating, you must become someone who doesn't. Not someday, now. And that means action, no matter how small. Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Find your why. Find the fire inside you that refuses to waste another second, because the world belongs to those who act, not those who wait. The Stoic secret: just begin. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You don't need to feel motivated. You just need to begin. Right now. Not after this video, not tomorrow, now. Because in the end, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is your ability to act, and the time for action is here. Are you ready? There is one last thing you must understand. One final truth, so simple, so obvious, that it almost feels absurd to say it. There is no future version of you. The person you imagine, the one who is disciplined, who has overcome procrastination, who has built the life they want, does not exist. There is only you, right now. And every moment you delay, waiting for some future version of yourself to finally be ready, you are reinforcing the very cycle that keeps you stuck. This is the great paradox. The only way to become that future version is to act as them right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. The deathbed perspective. Imagine yourself at the end of your life. You are lying on your deathbed, looking back at everything you've done and everything you didn't do, the dreams you postponed, the opportunities you ignored, the potential you wasted, all because you thought you had more time. What would you give in that final moment for just one more chance? To wake up, full of life, with the ability to act, to change, one last time? Here's the brutal truth. You are living that chance right now. The time you are wasting is the same time your future self will beg to have back. And when you finally grasp this, when you truly understand the finality of time, procrastination will die, because you will see it for what it really is. Not laziness, not a bad habit, but a form of self-betrayal. The final choice. Who will you be? So now you stand at a crossroads. Two paths stretch before you. The first path is the easy one, the familiar one, the path where you continue to delay, where you let fear, comfort, and distraction dictate your life. The second path is harder. It demands discomfort. It requires you to act before you feel ready, but it is the path of growth, the path where you become who you were meant to be. And at this moment, there is only one question that matters. Which path will you choose? The final act. No more theory, no more concepts. It's time for action. Right now, pick one thing you've been procrastinating on, something meaningful, something important, and do it immediately. Because in the end, the cure for procrastination is not another video, it is action, and the time for action is now. The question is, will you take it?